Welcome back to War Thunder Weekly News. This week, Mike 10D has published his 1.79 unofficial patch notes. So hit that subscribe button, let's find out what Gaijin isn't telling us. This document is very large, contains many facts, all of which are really going to affect the game, so I'm only going to cover the ones that I think are actually important. A multitude of ammunition rounds had their stats slightly changed. Mostly it seems that angled penetration is easier. This includes HESH, but it's not all good news, as L7 APDS once again got nerfed, losing about 70mm of penetration at 10 meters, giving this round worse penetration than the Long 88's APCR. Which makes me ask, why would they use such a terrible round? It's only a slightly bit faster than the Long 88's APCR. It's probably a whole lot more expensive to produce, and it gave worse penetration rates, although it probably was better at angles. I haven't thrown the numbers together yet. But I'm not sure if this is legit, because it seems a little too low. The 90mm M3, M3A1, and Type 61 cannons had their reload rates slightly reduced, which is nice, although this does not include the T25 for some odd reason. The FV4004's massive 183mm HESH shell has had its penetration nerfed also rather severely, although not as much, from 254 to 228. The other information about guns and their penetration factors is rather important, and I highly suggest you read it, although I don't want to go through every individual one, as it would make the video gratuitous. In the terms of tank armor, there was many minor changes. The AMX-50 and the AMX-M4 had their sides increased from 30mm to 40mm. The premium AMX-30 had its turret cheeks reduced from 41.5mm to 20mm, which puts them in 50 caliber penetration range. Also, for some reason, its coaxial machine gun can point 20 degrees beyond the main gun. That feature is present on the non-premium AMX-30s. Many tanks that had the probability that their ammunition would explode from being shot from 50% to 100. And also quite many of these tanks have had it so they have the ready racks always loaded, which many times appear in the turret, and therefore is quite dangerous to drive these tanks now. Many tanks have had various bits of armor changed either from rolled homogeneous armor to cast homogeneous armor, or vice versa. It varies upon the tank. Generally, the difference between cast and rolled is slightly stronger. I think it's just about 5% less strong than rolled, so it's not a great big deal, but if for ammunition on the very edge of being able to penetrate you or not, it can easily push it over and make you at risk of being penetrated by them. The lower side armor of the Churchill Mark 7 has been improved to 57.1mm, and the tracks on the tank have also been improved. Oddly, they're different. The turret tracks are 20mm and the hull tracks are 30. An internal plate in the M1 Abrams has been drastically increased from 6.35mm to 38.1mm, which will probably keep the tank alive much longer if you light the engine on fire. The M4A5 had a hefty buff to its turret armor, making it now 69.85mm, and the Russian Matilda Mark II has had a hefty nerf of its gun mantlet. The cheeks are now only 55mm, the bit around the cannon is only 38mm, and the internal block is now structural steel, which is only 50% as strong as rolled homogeneous armor. The T-34, all of them, has had its driver's hatch fixed. Now the max effective armor on it is no longer infinite, but ranges from about 100 to 130, depending on the model. But it turns out there was indeed that if you shot the driver hatch at certain angles, it would be invulnerable. This also happens to be spotted on parts of the T-64B. If you shoot the upper front plate at the right angle, it will be infinite, but no longer actually. The T-64B also received a new 100mm plate right in front of the driver to hopefully protect him, as that seems to be a weak point. The Type 62, one of the few Chinese tanks in the game, has had a nice buff. Its front plate is now 35mm as opposed to 25, and its front hull top armor is now 20mm. which would help protect against those pesky 50 cals, although not enough, but it's better. Once again, there are many minor details. I didn't tell you how many tanks had its ammo changed to guarantee explosion. It seems to be most rank 4 to rank 5 vehicles. And once again, I suggest you look through it on your own time. There was a change to plain guns. I can easily summarize this one for you. At far ranges, now a large amount of ammunition is less effective, commonly being around 1.5 kilometers, doing no damage. This to me isn't too much of a problem, as most of the time I try to engage around half a kilometer, otherwise shots are too inaccurate, though this will make pulling off those glorious snipes much harder. Along with the cannon buff and how exactly that works, it seems what happened is they've added essentially tank HE shells to the original HE shell, although both of them are working in tandem, generally just makes HE a whole lot more powerful. And in terms of economy changes, torpedoes and bombs had their silver lion costs reduced quite heavily, although guns had their belt costs increased quite heavily as well, at times almost doubling. And finally, the stuff that people really care for. 3 new maps, they all sound like naval maps, radar and infrared mechanics, including weapon lock controls, and apparently IS-7. Doesn't exactly say what was found about it, just that it is being mentioned. I think this is the second time it has been brought up in some unofficial patch notes. And as we have the M1 Abrams and the Type 90 and the Leo 2A4, the IS-7 isn't as scary as it used to be. Wouldn't be too surprised if it was an event vehicle, although personally I don't think it needs to be an event vehicle. I'd say prepare it for summer event, as it kind of fits the bill. Personally, I'm more interested in those weapon lock controls. And other things that Gaijin isn't telling us about, they changed the bundles on the Steam store. It seems they have been changed completely. No longer is the Steam pack that came with the XP38G, A6M Co, and Rasmussen's P36A. Now, for $40, you can get the Black Prince. For $40, you can get the T29. For $20, you can get the Panzer 470A. For $25, you can get Plagueis' Spitfire LF Mark 9, which I personally have, and it's a pretty good aircraft, though I got it for like $15 on a sale. And finally, for $15, you can get the T34 Mod 1941. As it's nice to see some of these older vehicles that were taken away back. There's some nice vehicles there. It's very disappointing, most of all, to see the Steam pack go away, as that was quite a good deal. If you're wondering, you can still get the XP38G and A6M5 Co, as they're sold individually on the Gaijin store, although the special P36A is no longer anywhere to be seen and is now a rare aircraft, though I have seen it pop up in various specials throughout the year. If you're a filthy weeb, you might be interested in this next story. In celebration of the Japanese servers opening up thanks to DMM, there is an event going on in which you can get some unique skins and decals related to the anime Strike Witches. Though, before you get all excited or annoyed, this event can only be partaken by residents of Japan, as you need to have a DMM linked account. And if you link your account and not live in Japan, you will be permabanned, as it says in the EULA. If your account is linked and you don't live in Japan, fear not, as if you ask the Gaijin support to unleak your account, they should do so, no questions asked. On top of that, if you do live in Japan, like Strike Witches, and when you get your hands on one of these items, well, the BS doesn't end there. You get one free camouflage, but to get the other ones related to, say, your favorite character, you gotta buy loot boxes. And they're not cheap. For a skin box, it costs 589 golden eagles, and for a decal box, it costs 299 golden eagles, and your chance of getting a decal/skin is 1.4%. And quite honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if you got team killed more often having this skin on your plane, as there is a good number of people who hate anime who play War Thunder. Upon that, the skins are kind of, let's just say I won't be posting any pictures of them on this video. There will be a link below if you wish to see them yourself. Honestly, kind of knowing what DMM is, this isn't too surprising. When I say that, I mean everything that has to do with this event. In the terms of DevBlogs, there's 2 new ones for 2 boats. The first one was the Project 206 of the German fleet. This is a post-war ship carrying 4 torpedoes and 2 turrets with 2 30mm cannons each. I don't have this one yet, but I've taken out in some of the pre-beta tests, and it's quite the vessel, having the firepower to deal with other boats and a number of torpedoes and speed to deal with anything larger. The other one was for the USS Tucumcari, a hydrofoil, which is rather fast, and that's its only attribute. It's armed with a 40mm cannon and a few other guns, and is heavily over-tiered as it has no torpedoes, and I think it's round 4.0 where it fights destroyers. But it has no way of dealing with destroyers besides annoying them. I also have taken this out in the pre-beta test, and it's not too good. As a final closing statement, the store team dude replied to a guy talking about the eventuality of an Italian ground forces tree and more CAS aircraft to support those tanks. The dude's comment talked as the Italian tank tree was said to be at the end of the year, and before then we'll probably expect more CAS aircraft before then, ergo Italian tanks are not the next patch. The store team dude said, "There's still plenty of time till the end of the year, just saying." I'll let you determine what that means. This has been War Thunder Weekly News. That's just about all the news this week. If you've liked this video, hit the like button. If you didn't like the video, don't hit the like button. If you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. I make these every Sunday. I make random videos throughout the week, so hit that bell icon to be notified whenever I upload anything. Thanks for watching. Join my Discord. Have a nice day.